Jane, that changed the definition of being a girl. Living in animals is that thing that most of the people never dream about. Jane had no experience, no credential, no training. She just had a hunger for knowledge. She started with no idea, no plan. She started what she wanted to do since childhood because it was the time of discovery. Back in 1957, she called Lewis, who had sent her to Gambia National Park, Africa. The alone young girl is not safe in jungles, so her mom set up the clinic there to support her. It was her dream, and she proved to be strong enough to live her dream, which most of us never dared to. She wasn't so much rich and therefore never been to university. She worked as a waitress, saved her salary and even the tip to make her first trip to Africa. In starting, chimps were running away from her. She had walked and rambled up and down 3 different valleys in search of chimps, but had found none. After 5 months in Gambia for the same routine, one chimp with white hairs on chin, different from others, didn't run away from her. After 5 months of patient and tireless observation, the chimpanzees had accepted her. And then she explored something unique about chimpanzees that changed everything. Actually, in 1960s, it was held at least by many scientists that only humans had minds. Only humans were capable of rational thought. But she explored that chimpanzees using a tool. She watched spellbound as chimps set off to a termite mound, picked up a small leafy twig, then stripped it of its leaves. That was object modification, beginning of tool making. She immediately believed in that new search because she did not have already stored knowledge about the human mind, as she never had been to university. Sometimes knowledge can prove to be fatal when it forces us to make perception and generate the result before discovering something new. We stick to the stored knowledge, which creates a barrier to experience new knowledge and to discover new results. We are unable to accept the new values and new education because our mind never to think opposite from stored knowledge. She telegrammed the news to Lewis. He responded that we must now redefine the man or accept chimpanzees as human. When something unique happened, there's always a violent uproar. This research challenged humans' uniqueness that human has a brain and they are only tool maker. People revolt against her and discredited her study by saying she's a young, untrained girl and therefore to be disregarded. After she became geographic cover girl, people said, well, all her fame was due to her legs. But till now, in the camp area, chimps started coming down to her camp. But due to circumstances, she had to move to another project, another place and other animals. In the starting, she felt very depressed to not studying on chimps. But after a while, she dived herself into another project that gave her wider perspective and to study better about evolution. Sometimes when you don't get what you want, or things are against you, generally you get depressed or stressed. You already tag that situation as a bad. Maybe it proves to be the best thing for you or help you to think better and wider about your main goal. Now she learned about motherhood from the Flo, which is a chimpanzee mother, and Flint was her baby chimpanzee. When Mother Flo died, 3 weeks later the son Flint also died, which explains the depression and loneliness in chimpanzees, as Flint was dependent on mother chimp Flo. She also witnessed the fight and groups in chimpanzees, just like humans, and conclude that the fight trait we got from primate ancestors. She believed, if we have a speech, we are responsible to take care of other creatures. Other creatures, those can't express their feelings, whose continued existence is threatened by thoughtless behavior of our own human species. This study was the longest study of the history of the world, which is over 55 years. Thank you. Thank you so much.